What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Gotta Get Back, the Samurai Jack and Review Show. Welcome to episode 42, guys. We're going through season 4 here. My name is Kyle, your host. If you haven't seen the show before, guys, we're doing a recap. We're doing a favorite character, a favorite scene, score out of 10, and some trivia at the end. So yeah, we're going to kick it off here, guys. We're kicking our way through season 40. Wow, season 40. This is season 40. Now, kicking our way off through season 4. Have I mentioned the sound design in Samurai Jack? It's pretty good. Once again, this is a nice rainy, dark setting here. You can hear every raindrop. It sounds really, really cool, especially later on in the episode. There's one scene I really like. But we have Jack here, and he's cold, and he's wet, and he's lonely, and he's walking through. Poor guy's just looking for some shelter. He comes upon like a bar, and everyone's kind of looking at him funny, but it doesn't seem like, at least initially, anyone's kind of out to get him. And so he's like, oh, I'm looking for some tea. He actually ends up making his own tea. And he sits in there, and Jack's ready to chill. And in comes the samurai. And we get a boombox that comes through, playing some music. And we get this buff dude. And he is just so good. So eccentric, has almost like a sultan's outfit. These shiny, bright lights. And he's just got these like crazy glasses. Oh yeah, you guys can see over here. And so, he's like, I am the samurai. So he's voiced by David Alan Grier, who's most famously known for being on In Living Color. I actually thought this was Keegan-Michael Key for a second when I heard him. They sound very similar, but that same sort of comedy style, he brings so much charisma and energy to his character. So really, really, really enjoy his character as the samurai. So yeah, he comes in and he's like, yo, I am the samurai. And it's like, obviously this is kind of like a play on Jack. And he goes in there and he announces his presence. No one really cares, but he's kind of like walking around like he's hot shit. And he's like, asking for a drink. And then he sees, he's trying to hit on one of the women that's in there. And then he goes around there and no one's really like impressed really, but he goes over to Jack and three like robots come up for Jack, and it's like these three, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like these two, it's like a metal case, it's closed with robes, and they open up the robe, and it's Aku, like an old TV, and he's like, Samurai Jack, I've come for you. He's like, these are my new minions. And so Jack is like, oh shit. So Jack gets up after the samurai is like doing all these like dumb little tricks and trying to impress everyone. Samurai Jack just quietly and calmly like gets up and he just starts slicing up these robots. And that's when the samurai spits out his drink, because he's obviously never seen like a real fighter. And he's like, wow, you can't believe it. And he's kind of giving him like a look, and he's like, oh yeah, man, I see you got some pretty good moves. But he's like, the problem is here, he's like, you're the samurai, I'm the samurai. He's like, there's only room for one samurai. And so he's trying to fight Jack, and Jack's like, I'm not going to fight you, dude. He's like, I will wreck you. And he goes over and to go sip his tea, and the samurai doesn't like being stood up, of course. So he's like, no, he basically tells him like, no, man, you're going to fight me. He's like, oh, you're afraid to fight me. Is that it? And Jack is like, no, I'm not going to fight you. He's like ignoring him. And then Jack is going to take his tea, and the samurai takes his tea and he messes with it. And Jack's like, all right, dude, now you've gone too far. He's like, don't mess with my tea, because now we're going to fight. So he's like, all right, we're going to take this outside. And so they both go outside. They go in the field here, and the samurai is trying to be like, ooh, ah, ooh. And he's like doing all these things, like trying to show off. Clearly not a real warrior. And Samurai Jack throws a sword in the ground, and he picks up a bamboo stick, and he goes, man, what are you doing? Pick up your sword. And he goes, you have not earned the right to face my blade. And I'm like, oh, dude, that is a line right there. So the samurai runs at him, of course, and there's like jazz music playing every time. And one swoop, Jack, not even looking at him, just hits him and sends him flying. So he lands in like a puddle, and then he's got these little wipers that come down in front of his green glasses. And so he's like mad, and he's about to get up, and Samurai Jack's got him pinned already. So he starts furiously swiping at Jack. Jack is just easily like dodging him, and then Jack just hits him once on the knee, then knocks his glasses off, and the samurai is like, hey man, what's the big idea? And Jack just like literally undresses him hits him a couple of times, and then he hits him in the chest because he won't leave him alone. And it turns out that he's wearing like fake muscles, basically like a muscle suit. And so it's actually like this guy that's like overweight and skinny, not overweight and skinny. He's got like a beer belly and he's like scrawny, and he's just not like this buff hero that we thought. So he's talking about him and he's trying to yell at Jack, and Jack is like shut up. He's like shut your mouth. And Jack is like looks around, and there's this awesome scene where Jack looks and the rain's coming down, and you hear like the pitter patter from his straw hat, and the sound is so good, dude, that I was like, wow, this sounds so realistic. Like the sound adds so much to this entire episode and this entire series. But Jack's sitting there, and all of the same robots that were going to take him down earlier, they come back, but like now the faceplate is like removed, and it's like these creepy, like almost like skeleton like skulls with like diamonds for eyes, and they have blades, and then they have these weird red like feet. Super cool, super creepy looking. But they're basically just big robots. Well, these like little scrawny robots, but there's a bunch of them. They have these weird, like I said, these weird like red boots on, and they put like a collar on the samurai, and then Samurai Jack is like, they all run at him, and he's still got his bamboo stick, and he takes out every single one of these robots with the bamboo stick. So he doesn't even use his sword. And the samurai is like so impressed, and he's looking at him, and he's like, wow. He's like, dude, maybe I underestimated you. So Jack takes everyone out. His hat is taken down. The sun comes out, and there's like one robot hand that has not been defeated yet. And they all kind of like form together. Jack goes over, and there's like a really cool shot of like the light coming down on Jack. He breaks the collar for the samurai, and he's like, man, I need to learn from you. And then the bamboo stick is taken from Jack, and then it turns out that the robot's like reformed into like massive creature with these creepy heads that are like looking at him again. And there's like these weird like wires that are coming down. I don't know, it's weird. But now they're all like individual heads coming at him, and Jack is like, he's getting hit a couple times, but he's got to defend everyone. The samurai is watching him. Jack takes it down. Just when we think like the samurai has learned a lesson, it's funny because Jack says like, you have made the first step on the real path to becoming a samurai. And he sheathes his sword and he walks away. And the samurai goes, whoa, hold up, homie. He's like, what's step 2? He's like, is there a step 3 and 4? He's like, you have a video I can watch? He's like, is there a guide I can do? He's like, hold on, homie. It's really funny. And he walks off, and that is how the episode ends. Okay, guys, magic sword for this week. It's the samurai. I mean, so charismatic, dude. David Alan Grier just brings so much character, so much energy, so much hilarity to that character. And like, we know he's a phony, and we know he's fake. He's not really tough. But just the fact that he's walking around, he's got all this swagger, and he's trying to impress everyone, and it's just like, hey man, we know you're not a real fighter, but it's your personality that makes him probably a fan favorite, I'm sure. So really, really interesting, and like the dynamic between him and then Jack is so different that it's really fun to watch them interact. And Jack is just like, I don't have time for your games, dude. But he does teach him like the lesson, and he knows that he's not a bad dude. He's just trying to be accepted. So, but the samurai, the way he comes in, the way his outfit is, just eccentric, and he learns a hard life lesson where he's like, oh, I'm not a warrior. I need to learn from a real samurai. That's why he gets my magic sword for this week. Okay, guys, a portal in time. I talked about it earlier. It's the one shot where Jack is looking at the robots, dude, and the rain is coming off his straw hat. It's just, I don't know, something about it where like, the sound had me 100% in, and I was just like, yeah, this is cool. And yeah, obviously we see Jack fight without his sword, so it's just using a bamboo stick, which is way more impressive. And yeah, that one particular scene where he's like gearing up to go, that gets my portal in time for this week. Okay, guys, for a score for this one, the samurai is so charismatic that he brings it up a little bit. So I'm going to give this one an 8.5. Season 4 has been pretty strong so far. To be honest, it's nothing like groundbreaking, I don't think, but it's like right in the middle of the pack where I think I've been giving it mostly like mid-8s. So it's kind of like, it's an enjoyable watch. It's no haunted house episode, but so far so good. It's been pretty good. But this one, I love the setting. I love rainy, dreary, like forest, isolated. I love that setting every time. Yeah, the sound just really elevates this. It's just so good. It's like the first thing I notice in every episode now. It's so good, and I didn't realize how much I didn't notice it before. So yeah, if you're watching Samurai Jack, please watch it with a good sound system because it makes a world of difference. It's like watching a whole new show. So, but yeah, just a fun episode overall. Okay, guys, Jack facts for this week. We have a couple. So there's a couple errors in this episode. So the first one here, the samurai's mouth is missing in one frame when he prepares to fight the robot guards. So his mouth is just not there. So that's interesting that they forgot to draw that in. And then when the samurai questions why Jack throws down a piece of bamboo at his feet, Jack is wielding his sword after he previously sheathed it. So that's kind of just some continuity things there, but there's so many frames in it, so it came out so well that you can kind of forgive them for that, and it makes for a fun little segment here. And then the one real Jack fact we have is a strange one. It's another error as well. It says here that Comcast mixed up the title and summary of this episode with the one after it around the time of its premiere and still does to this day. And so I'm not going to reveal the title for the next one because I don't want to spoil anything. But it's funny that, like, is this just a Comcast issue? Like, is Comcast just messing up? I don't know. But yeah, apparently they're putting the wrong title and summary on this episode with the one that comes after it, which makes no sense. But that is our Jack fact for this week. Okay, guys, that's another episode down. Thanks for checking out Gotta Get Back. Thanks for checking out Project Potter. Go check out the other content on the channel. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell notification. And until next time, guys, gotta get back.